Money, clients, and payments. Those three things put together cause 90 to 98% of agency owners the most stress. So in today's video, we'll be talking about how to take payments from clients and how to not screw up. So close all your tabs, put in your earphones, increase the volume to the maximum, zero distractions, because for the next 15 to 25 minutes, or 8 to 12 minutes, I'll be teaching you how to get your money right. Some big tips for people in the SMMA regarding taking payments. Never let the client leave the meeting without paying. Ask them to give you their business details so you can send them the invoice on the call. This is so important. If a client leaves the call without paying you and said that they'll pay you, the chances of them becoming a client decreases by 70 to 80%. That's insane. So if a client leaves without paying you and said they'll pay you, chances are they'll never be a client. Anyway, number 2, this invoice will be a subscription, recurring monthly payment, whatever you want to call it, but in SMMA we refer to this as a retainer. Ensure they never pay you manually unless it's of course on the first meeting, in the first call, right? The thing about this is that you never want to let a client to reframe and think about whether or not paying you how much they pay you, which is $1,000 to $4,000 to even like $10,000 a month. You don't want them to ask themselves whether or not that's worth it, because even if a business is making millions in revenue a year, the business owner will still think if having you on there is worth it, right? The majority of agency owners get excited when a client agrees to work with them, but then they let the client leave without having the client pay. And the thing about this is that when the client leaves, they will not become a client. So most agency owners feel that this is the most stressful part in the meeting, which should be the most fun. I mean, you're making money, right? So after this video, it'll be the most fun for you. 90 to 98% of agency owners are doing the old manual payments as if we live in the caveman ages, right? The dinosaur ages. And it's the modern age, digital age. You should get with the time. Why you should use subscription payments? Every time the client has to pay you, they ask themselves, should I still really pay this agency? The more you make them money, the more you make them pay you manually, they are thinking if they should leave and do what you are doing for themselves for free, as there are negative connotations associated to paying. It's called reframing. Every time you try to have them pay you, you're having them recall and giving them a chance to reframe your services. This on its own will have your churn rate shoot through the roof, which is why most courses get people canceling on the 2nd or 3rd month, because they're asking themselves, is this course really worth it? Am I making the moves I thought I'd be making when I took this course? And chances are they're not. So they just bounce and leave out of there, which compared to courses that charge you monthly in a subscription form and they auto bill you, those courses have a very low churn rate, right? Because really, who needs the money, right? Money ruins relationships with others. It's how the saying goes. Never lend your friends or family money, because every time you have to ask your client to pay you and remind them to pay you, you're not only ruining the relationships with each other, but you're giving them the control in the relationships. Because who really needs the money? It's not the client chasing after you for ad spend and having you and begging you to run their ads. It's you running after them to pay you for your services. Closing the client. This is the most delicate stage in the entire meeting. So how do you go about asking for the money? Very simple. It's just agency owners and you. Yes, you. Overcomplicated. You make it seem as if it's the client's choice. That's how you go about it. So at the end of the meeting, you would say something like, where would you like to go from here? See, this question changes the table, it turns the table. Instead of seeming as though you're selling your service to the client, you make it appear as if it's the client asking you and wanting you to allow him to work with you. Because here's the thing about humans. Humans don't want to be sold to, but they want to buy. That's something you should keep in your mind. Software to charge payments with. These are all free to use except for the transaction fees, which are from 2 to 5%, which is very much worth it if you ask me. Now, PayPal. PayPal is a good service. The problem with PayPal is that every single person has PayPal, and a lot of fraud occurs on PayPal, which means that the thing about having an SMMA is that you charge your clients very high retainers, right? Anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 or more. And let's say you're charging your client $1,000 a month, and it's your first $1,000 payment on your PayPal account. Chances are PayPal will hold your money for a while because they're assuming that it's fraud, and you'll only get your money in a couple of weeks, sometimes months. So only use PayPal as a last resort. There are other options such as Square, which is also another payment processor. There's Stripe, and in my opinion, Stripe has one of the cleanest and best interfaces ever for a payment processor that's free, right? But in my country, Stripe isn't available, so I use PayFast, and PayFast is only available in South Africa. So if you're in South Africa or you're South African, then I suggest you use PayFast because that is the best option in my opinion, right? I truly feel that once you get the verbal agreement from the client, only you can screw up. So don't screw up. See, the thing about it is, as soon as you get a yes from the client, chances are what they are really craving for is for a red flag, for a reason to not pay you and go against the yes and cancel the entire deal as it is, all in all. Because as soon as they say yes, your goal is to ensure that the process from there remains smooth and seamless. So what you want to do is run the entire meeting in your head 100 times, so that when you do talk to your client on Zoom, that you've already played the meeting 100 times in your mind, and there is no area of error, right? Because that's the best thing about having a mind, about having a brain, is that it can't distinguish the difference between the imaginary and reality. So take advantage of that. Invoices, in my opinion, you don't have to use them, they're optional, right? If you feel like they don't give you the bang for your buck and you trying to save as much money as you can, then you don't have to use invoices. But in my opinion, invoices are great because they just allow you to brand and have your invoices appear presentable. Now there are two types of invoices I would recommend, but you could use other ones and research for yourself other ones. These are just like the two that I've done my research on, which are Simple Invoices and Xero. Now the thing about Simple Invoices is that it's only available for Stripe and PayPal, and since I'm not using any of those two, I only have access to Xero. But if I had the chance, I would use Simple Invoices. So what are invoices used for, right? To brand your invoices and make it look presentable. That's why you want to use these invoice softwares instead of the default invoices that your payment processor comes with. It's to brand your invoices and make it look presentable, because all of the softwares have default invoices. They just have those softwares branding all over it. Like if you're using PayPal, or if you're using PayFast, or if you're using Stripe, like they have their logos all over your invoices, and it just tells the client, okay, this person is using invoices, and there's nothing clean and seamless about that, right? You want to have your branding remain in the whole process of signing and onboarding the client, right? I use Xero, but this is only because I don't have access to simple invoices in my country. But if I did have access to simple invoices, then I would be using simple invoices as well, should I say, instead. And that is the end of today's video. If you found what I talked about helpful, or if you're just into SMMA and entrepreneur advice and tips, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I upload every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but not on Saturday and Sunday. If you have any questions or just have any advice to give other SMMA owners, or any other alternatives to what I've stated here, then go into the comment section and comment down below. Hit the like button. If you found any value in this video, hit the like button. I really appreciate that. Subscribe, because that little action of you subscribing, it just means the world to me, and it really helps me out in the algorithm and things like that. But anyway, till I see you guys in a minute, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐿.